our anniversary.
Ooh.
Anniversary.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's like.
It's a slow-mo, guys.
We're in our terrible twos.
Yay us. I'm proud of us.
It's been a full 2 years around
2
the sun.
years. For ITE.
Wow. Yeah, honestly, I feel like we've been around longer than that.
It has.
That's what a lot of people, like my family stuff, be saying.
That's
too.
it.
Right. That's it. It's not even 2 years.
2 years, 3 seasons, 5K plus streams.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, look at where we are now.
But up every time.
I feel like we still should introduce ourselves for our new listeners.
I guess. I'm Nelly.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Lonnie.
And welcome to our humble abode.
Welcome. What?
So, as you all can see, this episode is really all about us and our growth and just seeing where we were. Like this season, we really spent a lot of time talking about specific issues and topics and having guests. But y'all, we haven't really been sharing what's going on with us. We haven't been doing life updates. And I feel like that's important because the premise of It's Too Early is just about us transitioning into adulthood and figuring out life. So y'all gotta know what's going on in our lives because Jesus,
Okay.
Be a fence.
be a fit.
All around.
Amen.
Okay. Come on, Local.
So who's gonna start? I mean, where do we start?
Girl,
Because I don't even know what's the last life updates that we gave.
I don't
to
even know
people.
what my life is. Life has just been on full speed lately.
Yeah. How do we feel? I mean, we almost survived a pandemic. Like we're almost through.
I was about to say. I mean,
we're almost through
Are we
it.
really?
I feel like after they get a ring on this Delta variant, we'll be able to say hurrah, you know?
I don't
Hopefully.
know. I just don't know what it's going to be, and I feel like it's never going to really go away. It'll just become a regular sickness thing rather than being like, oh, it's just going to be like, I have COVID, and it's not going to be like, I have COVID.
Like
It's
the
like the
flu.
flu. Yeah, it's like,
Like
I'm
the
sick,
flu.
I can't come to work. Like, I really don't see, like, testing being done long term. Like, by next year, it's going to be forget COVID, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think vaccinations are going to be the main premise of COVID at this point moving forward. With that being said, make sure you're vaccinated. Get your vaccine.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, like, data showing that everybody who's unvaccinated is dying. Like, why would you not want to get your vaccine after that is being proven? Like,
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
I feel indifferent about it. Like, I understand the facts and I understand the data, but we've also seen data and facts that were really used to jeopardize Black communities specifically. So I can understand where there's pushback from it. Like, I just feel like if you want to get it, get it. If you don't. But regardless, everyone should be being safe out here. Like, just don't be reckless and just understand that if you make either decision you make comes with risk. Shoot, everybody gonna die one day. So I was very anti-vaccine at first, and one of the biggest reasons I got it was because I travel so much, one, and two, honestly, my job just made it, like they sent the email out last week that it was required for all faculty and staff. There's a deadline to when you have to have it by. So, I mean, I'm glad I got it early, but I do understand why people aren't the most comfortable. Like, Black people have been guinea pigs and test rats for a very long time, so I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's just my personal opinion. I'd rather, take all the precautions that you possibly can and that are available to you. But, I mean, if you work for the government, you're going to have to get that vaccine. So, you may want to rethink that if you work for the good old government. But, yeah, that's just my stance. But, people are going to do what they want to do with their lives. They're entitled to their choices and their opinions. But, just be as safe as possible as you can be.
Yeah. So what was y'all biggest lesson, though, throughout the pandemic? What did you learn about yourself, about others, about career, about anything, travel, about anything?
I personally learned patience and grace. Well, not just like for myself, but for other people around me. Especially during this pandemic. This pandemic has taken a toll on so many people. Not just, with the vax or the virus in general, but, just being in the house and like not being able to see like family members, even from like the start of the pandemic. Yeah, we're kind of like out of the woods a little bit, so we have a little bit more leeway to see, you know, those people. But it's just been a hassle for me to really learn patience and grace. Because before the pandemic, we was just always on the go. We was doing what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it. And now the pandemic is around. It's like, okay, I have to like sit back and really think about where I want to go and what I want to do and how I want to take things. So patience and grace is the number one thing, because it can be, sometimes you can get lost in everyday life and not have, you know, that grace for yourself. So
for me, I feel like the biggest thing I learned that the key to saving money is to stay home. Because since everything has been open and people have been outside, the money just disappears. Okay, it's so expensive. Like, I feel like during the pandemic, I didn't have my full-time job yet. I wasn't like doing as much as I am now. And money was just flowing, like, and that was a blessing, honestly. And I just feel like I never needed during the pandemic. And now, I don't feel like I need now, but I can just see the influx of the money that I spend from not being home. So, with that said, I would not mind another shutdown, especially during the winter time, because I don't need to go nowhere anyway. But yeah, that has been, I feel like a lot of my lessons have been surrounding money, only because like saving it, and then also seeing how when you are just like naturally giving and you give genuinely, things really flow to you. And like, I can't put it any other way. Like, if you are unselfish with the overflow that you have, overflow will continue to come to you. And I've been seeing that, and like, I am gonna be a year with Be The Brand, which is my graphic design business, September 1st. I launched that in the middle of the pandemic, really just starting something to keep my head over water, because I hadn't had my full-time job yet. I was still finishing grad school. And when I really did my numbers and like actually sat down and calculated how much I made, I was like, wow, like, that's crazy. So for me, it's just like, there's ways to make money out here. There's ways to have multiple streams of income, and like, that business mindset really kicked in for me like through the entire pandemic.
I think my biggest lesson has been gratitude. I feel like I am just so grateful for life in general, like friends and family in general, and village and support and finances and whatever, but just really, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I've just been really grateful for every little thing. Like, I will wake up, take a hot shower, and be like, dang, I'm so glad I got hot water. Like, just small stuff, just because, you know, you hear so much about people who don't have, and even just seeing people who don't have, or during this whole thing, people dying, and, you know, just tragic stuff happening. So yeah, I've been really in my gratitude bag for everything, but honestly, specifically for like work, because I was trying to get a new job, but through the process of trying to do that, like, I was going on interviews, like, I was like, you know, top prospects, and then I wouldn't hear anything. So I was like, the first time I was like, all right, like, you know, brush it off. But after the second time, I'm like, bruh, God really trying to tell me to sit down and shut up. Like, I really cannot complain about the job that I have, the salary that I have. I just wanted more, just because I felt like it would put me in a better position. But honestly, like, I just have really had to turn that into like, dang, I'm grateful. Like, I can work with what I got. I'm grateful for what I have. I can make the best of what I have in this situation. So, and then on top of that, like, the job I'm at kept like trying to give me perks and benefits and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm still over here applying to jobs. Like, God was really like, girl, like, what is you doing? So yeah, when I say he really be slapping me upside my head all the time, like, all the time. So yeah, I'm just super grateful for anything and everything.
Absolutely.
So how do you all feel like, and this is not pandemic related, just as people think about when we first started, it's too early, which probably feels like a really long time ago, but like, how do you feel like you changed as a person, like transitioning more and deeper into adulthood?
That's a hard one.
Anybody can answer first. I looked at you. Could you?
Go ahead, Nelly.
I think that like Lonnie said about what she learned, I feel like I've learned grace as I've gotten older, and like, you know, this whole adulthood thing has hit me. I feel like grace has been something that I've had to really learn. It's not something that came easy to me. Grace and patience, of course, but yeah, just, I don't know. I just feel like I'm much more, I don't want to use merciful. I feel like that's such a big word. Like, only God can be merciful. But I feel like I do offer grace to people more than I would have previously.
Interesting.
And is that grace in terms of like someone does something to you and you're more forgiving, or is that grace like understanding where people come from?
I think all around. Like, yeah, I think all around. Even like little stuff like people not showing up when they said they was going, like little stuff like that. I feel like, and maybe it is tied in with the pandemic, but I feel like since, you know, thinking back to when we started this and what space I was in, I feel like since then I've really been like, dang, I need to take a look at their perspective and understand everybody got stuff going on, like, you know. So yeah, all of it.
You ready?
This one is it's a tough question to answer because I feel like I'm still like getting in I feel like right now I'm just now getting in the groove of like really coming into like my adulthood as myself. Like, I think that I've spent much of the pandemic like really reflecting on like myself in general, like what I like, what I don't like, my different flaws, things that I want to work on, things that, you know, I want to stay the same. Even like when it comes to like friendships, relationships, family members, like, you know, just growing connections with people that I never thought I would grow connections with. Me and my mom have gotten closer during the pandemic. You know, I live with my sister. Me and my sister, we've had our ups and downs during the pandemic, but, you know, we've learned to, and it's crazy because the other day we had this long discussion about, you know, living together and like making sure that we're, you know, when we're in each other's space, that we are conscious of like each other's attitudes and like what we don't like from each other and, you know, how we like to interact with each other. So I think that's been my biggest thing, is just, you know, kind of growing those connections with people that I never thought I would grow connections with. And just learning more about myself and like how I want to be treated and how I want to treat myself. And like, you know, I've been doing like a lot of self-care lately.
Amen.
So, you know, just getting into that. I think I was missing self-care before the pandemic, and now that I'm was forced to be in the house, I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'm not doing anything, so might as well, you know, take that into account. So
I completely agree with that. I feel like I have valued rest more. Like, before the pandemic, I was go, 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 go. Like, I'll sleep later. But now, honey child, I will be like, I'm going to sleep. I'll figure out how it's going to get done in the morning. Or, like, I'm in bed these days by, like, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, I feel like my biggest thing is my priorities have shifted completely. I don't feel like I'm a hot girl no more, for real.
Gosh.
No, seriously, like, I feel like my priorities have become, like, building wealth, physical health, like, especially for me, like, my body has been, like, so high on my priority list lately because it's something that I realized was impacting me mentally. So, like, focusing on my physical wealth, my wealth, and, like, just different things. I'm not worried about being out and popping bottles at the club.
Girl stuff,
right?
It is, but like when you think, like, I used to, you know, want to be outside and like go out and have fun and go be in the clubs and like, yeah, that's cool, but like the more every day, every weekend that goes by, I just want to do it less and less. Like, I want no parts of it. I just want to do some like bougie stuff, like travel or like go to a winery. Yeah, go to brunch. Like, I'm such a brunch kind of girl. Like, I'm realizing like the club, that outside scene, it's
cool
not
for
my
like
scene.
a quick little weekend.
Like maybe like once or twice a year. That's it. Like,
That's my lifestyle.
seriously.
That's literally
I just
my
feel
life.
like my priorities are different and the things that I enjoy are different. Like, I'd rather be at home in the backyard partying, having fun with 10 people that I know and love, and rather than being in the club with 300 people that really, I don't know y'all. Like, I could get sloppy drunk here and nobody here is going to care about me. Like, I I just rather be in safe spaces than to be outside.
Yeah, I think the older that we get, the more that I enjoy like doing like adult stuff, like going to the grocery store. Like, you want to run to the grocery store with me? Let's go to the grocery store. Let's run some errands. Let's go to Target and just walk around and just look at stuff. You know, I may come across something that I thought I needed a couple weeks ago and I decided to get it today. Like, it's certain like things like that that I just enjoy more as an adult rather than like partying all the time. Because honestly, I just be tired.
Girl,
tired.
I feel like my mind, like that's how I know I was always an old soul, because I skipped over all that. Like I was always on the I'm gonna just stay home, chill with the family. Like I don't need a club. I don't know. I just always been like that.
Sometimes I just be in my room drinking wine, in the bed watching Netflix. That just be my night.
I will binge a whole show all day. It was some wine, and that be it. Like I'm satisfied.
I just feel like there's just better things to do with your time.
You
can have fun during the day and still be in bed by a decent time. Like, that's my big thing. People don't be going out until 10, 11
I be like, you want me to show up at what time?
It don't start.
It don't start till 9?
No, then I'm in bed. I'm showered and in bed by then. Like, you want me to start doing my makeup at 9 o'clock?
Like, respect my time, please.
Respect my sleep.
Like,
and money too. There's so many other things that you can do your money with, like, that's worth it rather than going to the club every weekend. I'm not spending $100 on a table every
do you know
weekend.
how much money they waste?
No,
oh my God.
Casamigo bottles be like $500 in the club.
That's crazy.
That joint is like $65, $75 depending on what liquor store you go to.
Crazy.
It's like, it's cool to do for like one little weekend, but every weekend, every month, that's like
crazy.
No.
And I just feel like I'm just not that friend no more. I'm just a different type of friend. I'm the friend you call when you want to just go to Marshall's, okay? I'm in there with you, like swimwear. You want to do brunch, you want to try a new restaurant, you want to travel somewhere. I'm that friend.
That's
but even when I go on vacation, like we might go out one night, like just you got to see what the club scene is like, you know, in different places. But after that, I be done.
Excursions,
I can't even drink 2 nights in a row. Yeah.
No.
Like, if you get drunk one night, I don't see how people just do it again.
Wake up the next day and just start again.
Like, what in your body said, ooh, let's do this again?
Nothing.
Because when I wake up, I
want to look at alcohol. I don't want to smell it.
Yes. I just want to sleep the whole next day. Like, I don't know. I'm just not about that life. And it's crazy because I feel like I was not punishing myself, but feeling bad for that for a long time, especially because like I have other friends who love going out, and I just felt bad, like keep saying no, and like I'm like, dang, I feel bad, like I'm gonna have to go at some point, but it's just like, no, they just have to understand that that's just not my situation anymore. And if you're gonna punish me for not wanting to go out and drink and club, then you don't need to be my friend. Like, I feel like for the most part, and I think that was me projecting, like, I feel like the most part it's been receptive, that's not even a word, it's been received by, like, people are understanding that, like, I'm really on a different journey, and I'm really trying to figure out my next move on a higher level than just tomorrow. Like, I'm not worried about tomorrow, I'm really worried about long term.
Yeah, and now that you talk about that, do y'all feel like y'all friendships have changed during the pandemic, like over the past few years? Like, have y'all found yourself like making new friends or like losing old friends that you thought that, you know, were y'all friends, and then during the pandemic that just kind of shifted? Like, how do y'all feel about that?
No, only because, and I say this all the time, like, I know I got a solid group of friends. Like, I have no doubt in y'all. Like, there is nothing that...
I second that. You have a very good group of friends. Like, not even, like, outside of us. Like, in general, everyone that you have brought us around, like, everyone merges well. Like, and that's hard to do. Like, to mesh friend groups like that. So, I second that. You have an amazing group of friends.
I really... thank the Lord. Like, that's, I don't know what it is, but this is what I ended up with, and I am extremely grateful. So yeah, like, if anything, like, a lot of us grew closer because, you know, we were checking in on each other and, you know, having those heart-to-hearts when the pandemic was getting hard for people and that kind of thing. But, like, I didn't pick up any new friends. I didn't lose any. It really was just, like, normal, everyday stuff and just really being there for each other when we needed it.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've made any new friends either. I feel like maybe new associates and like just, you know how you have conversations with people on social media and stuff, but like they're kind of just that. But it's like nice to have conversations with people, but it's nobody new that I text like on a day-to-day basis. Now I will say I feel like my friendships have gotten closer because we've been prioritizing time together. So like even me and my 2 cousins and my sister, every month we do a date night. Me and my other group of friends, like every month we make it a point to have at least one scheduled date night. And like, because you don't realize how easy it is to go 2 or 3 months without seeing your friends. And you're like, dang, I haven't seen you since your birthday. Like, that's crazy. So I think more so just prioritizing seeing people and spending time with the people that were already in my life versus like trying to build new relationships.
I feel like mine has been the complete opposite. I think that my friendships have done a complete 360 as far as people who I thought were my friends or like in my friend circle and now they're not. You know, no hard feelings, no bad blood, nothing like that. But you know, when you get older, you either grow closer together, you grow far apart. So I think it was just, you know, time for that friendship or those friendships to, you know, just kind of like dwindle out and, you know, turn into associates rather than being close friends. But I have gained, you know, new friends, more so like family. You know, my best friend and her wife just got married in June. So their cousins became my cousins. So, you know, they inducted me as an honorary cousin. So, you know, I hang around them and I talk to them more. And, you know, we all of our values and goals and priorities align. So I think that I've really found like those people who I can like be around and like really be around those people who have the same goals and priorities as me and values. So
that's so important.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because people they always say birds of a feather, and then people be like, no, that's not true. But to a certain extent, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, you can't completely judge a person based on who, but you can kind of gauge, like, they have to have some type of similarities to be hanging together.
Like, you're not going to be the same individual, like, across the board. But if you friends with that person, y'all have to have some commonality at some point. Like, same values, same goals, same priorities. Y'all obviously met on some common ground, so...
Yeah, because otherwise y'all just gonna be beefing all the time.
Right.
Like, that's dumb. That don't even make no sense. Y'all gonna be talking trash about each other behind the back. Like, what? No.
So, do y'all feel like over the last 2 years, your goals and like your ultimate life plans have shifted? If yes, how? If no, then keep moving.
I don't necessarily think that mine have shifted. I think it's more so I'm coming into the realization of what my life goals and plans are. I think before I was just kind of like going with life, like, oh, wherever life takes me, like, I'll just be there. But I think now that as I'm getting older and now that I have this new job and I'm starting to like really get into my adulthood, I'm like, okay, this is what I really want to do. It's always been there, but I've never really realized it and taken it into consideration. So it hasn't shifted. I'm just now realizing what I really want to take my life to.
I'm a planner. Like, I've always had, like, you know, long-term goals set. So I don't think they have really shifted. Have I adjusted like how I think about it? I think yes. Like, I am more realistic with myself. Like, stuff is gonna take time. I think in the past I was like, oh, this needs to be done by this and this and this and this, but in this age, but I really have like dropped all expectations. I'm just like, I'm gonna still work toward it, but I'm gonna do it at my pace, at my time, and do what's comfortable for me. So I think that's how it shifted.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like I have this very general sense of what I want to do, where I want to go, how I expect things, but like, I didn't think I was going to end up working at a college. Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, that wasn't on my vision board, but like, that's where I'm supposed to be. So I think just like, in thinking like, oh, I know I want to get married. I know I want to have kids. I know I want to get married before I have kids. But like, just understanding that things are going to happen in their time and that I can have plans. But like, I don't feel like when people ask like, oh, so what's your ultimate goal? Like, I don't feel like I have an answer to that. Like, I don't know. Still figuring it out. Like, some people don't step into their real career until they're like 40.
Exactly.
Like some millionaires aren't made until 50, 60. Like that's crazy.
And I think it's also this big expectation that people around our age are like making millions, like they're business owners and they're doing this with their life and they're doing that and they have these expensive cars. But it's like in reality, like we're still young. Like we still have our whole life to figure it out. And to even when we're 50, 60, we still gonna be figuring our lives out at that moment in time. So yeah, just take your time.
Everything has become a race and a competition, especially with social media, and as helpful as it is to like businesses and getting your brand out there, it's so detrimental to mindsets. Like feeling like you have to be a millionaire by 25, and if you're not, you're a failure. Like feeling like you have to finish college at 22 and have a full-time job before 23. Like just like that mindset, like social media is so toxic and it's just so addicting. Like it's so crazy how addicting it is, because it's like people know that it's bad. People know that you're watching highlights of people's stories, and yet it still makes you feel bad about yourself sometimes. Like you know it. You know that this girl last week, all 4 windows in her car got busted out, but she posted $100,000 today, and you're like, ooh, I want to be her. Or she don't have no problems. But like, it has really just forced us into this mindset that we have to be better than everyone. And that's just not realistic.
That's
so
not.
I've been just trying to refocus my mind, and just that like, even in terms of like relationships, and you see these people having these big, huge weddings and popping out babies, and it's just like,
I mean,
it's
that's
not my time.
cool.
Yeah,
That's lovely, but it's like not for me right
Yeah.
now. Like I want to take my time a little bit.
And it's but on the flip side of that, like it's okay to like go through those emotions of like, dang, like I wish I had like let yourself live it in for a couple seconds, but then just really, you know, rein it back in and be like, I'm on my own path, on my own journey.
Or not, don't be so upset that you become ungrateful for the things that you do have. Because I think it's very easy to do that. Like, dang, she just bought a Tesla. I got this little Hyundai Sonata. Like, why are you mad? Like, you have a car. Right, you have a car. There's some people who don't even have that. So, like, it's just so much to be an adult.
It is.
Like,
It is.
I really just wish
Life
sometimes.
is hard, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And everything that we have, as great as it is, makes it way difficult. Like, it just makes it harder on
It
us.
does. It does. It really does.
All right, so what are podcasts specifically? What are some future goals and things y'all want to do?
Essence Fest.
Ooh.
Yes, Essence Fest is like
Yes.
awesome. That would be so fun. On my list though, I'd love to meet Black Girl Podcasts, like, and just have a conversation with them. I mean, I would love to have them on an episode, but you know,
Okay.
I'm speaking it out there.
Can we get an Essence Fest with y'all and do like a live episode?
Because I really feel like it would be a cool, like, to a certain extent, it's like mini versions. Like,
honestly,
we could really have those conversations to see, like, even though they're like, we're relatable to them, there is a generation split.
Yeah.
And just seeing, like, how they experience adulthood and how we experience adulthood is going to be so different, and just like, it would be a great conversation. Let's just, like, that would be a 2-hour, 3-hour episode cut into.
And there's so
17
many of
episodes.
us, so like, that would be
be so nice.
And just like, I feel like, even to the extent of like, we all have different things going on, but like, this is our central home. Like, it's the exact same with them. Like, all of them have different career goals, are successful in their own ways, but yet they still have they still deal with the same problems, and they still like can talk about it in that safe space. So that's
out there.
putting it out there. When you listen to this episode, go on Instagram and tag at Black Girl Pod
tag
under
them.
our video clips, our reels, whatever.
Tag them.
Because I would just love to have the conversation.
That would be an amazing conversation.
I would.
I second both of those. I have no follow-up. I second both of them. I mean, of course, I hope that our audience grows, but I think we're genuine, get good content. It'll do it on its own.
Yeah, just to continue to, have, like you said, great content, expand our topics, talk about different things that are going on in our lives between now and, how many ever years from now. So, yeah.
And I think we say it all the time. When we stop having fun with it, we'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
So we show up here every time because we genuinely enjoy it. And I feel like that's what makes our podcast so great. And if you're not listening, then you're missing out.
You missing out.
Period.
All right, pour us a glass of wine so we can cheers.
We gonna cut this out. The pour.
We can cut out this, but I think we should include the pour.
Okay.
The pour?
Yeah, why not? It's okay.
Keep one. Big old bottle. You want
Yeah.
some more?
No, that's good.
Okay. Tell me when to stop.
She said you gave her a baby glass.
That's why I said tell me when to stop. All right.
Right. Congratulations to us for making it to 2 years strong, consistent content, consistent episodes. And yeah, here is to year 3.
And
Cheers!
love y'all.
Cheers! Click, 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 click.
I'm not playing with it.
Another shot! That's ghetto. That is just ghetto.
That's how you know we drank too much.
Yeah,
It's
sorry,
too
y'all.
early.
I've been on a binge.
It's too early. Signing out. Thank y'all for listening. We love y'all. Thank you for listening, screaming, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of that. Streaming. Y'all know what I'm talking
That's
about.
right.
All right.
Y'all
We love
know
y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.